This is my presentation on Ursula Le Guin's Another Story and how it connects to human conditions. Ursula presents a hard science fiction story where the main character Hideo embarks on a scientific journey across the galaxy with the goal of resolving the Trojan theory. However, during this conflict in Hideo's life, he is also faced with another conflict over his desire to be with his family, specifically his cousin Izidri. Ursula Le Guin uses community, specifically family ties, as a trope to emphasize the importance of the human conditions in another story. It is also prevalent that love is a primary force needed to create community and fulfillment, and that the world Le Guin creates contains a drive for love and compassion. This is where I begin my argument. Ursula argues that human conditions are necessary to give meaning to human existence. Specifically, Hideo must travel back in time to understand that his life was unfulfilled without acknowledging his human desire for love and community. So what are human conditions, and how does Le Guin use human conditions to solve Hideo's conflict? The human condition is all the characteristics and key events that compose the essentials of human existence, including birth, growth, emotion, aspiration, conflict, and mortality. I think that Hideo is brought back in time so that he does not miss out on his chance to reciprocate his love for Izidri. Being brought back fulfills his human conditions of emotion and conflict that he has been neglecting. His career is important to explore before he ends up with Izidri. However, there is a part of him that wants to be with Izidri all along. He experiences these feelings when he continues his space journey after visiting home. Hideo states, "In the morning, I would call Izidri and talk to her, telling her I needed instruction in religion, that I wanted to give worship at the shrines again, but it had been so long, and I had never listened to discussions, but now I needed to, and would ask her, Izidri, to help me, so holding fast that I could at last stop the terrible sobbing and lie spent exhausted until the day came." Hideo's strong emotional connection to Izidri that causes him to become upset shows that Hideo is still tied to his childhood memories of her, especially where she confesses her love for him before he leaves on his science expedition. He thinks that her feelings are all in the past and now loving her is too late. However, it is clear that Hideo not only misses Izidri and fond memories of her, but the communal bond that exists on his planet home O. Hideo realizes he is empty and he doesn't know why until he's sent back in time. The love he has for Izidri opens his eyes to realize that he is sent back to be with Izidri because love is the driving force that fulfills his human conditions. Hideo makes this clear when he states that Izidri was always the one because he was always missing something in his life. Hideo states, "I know that. I didn't know that I was missing you, but I was dying of it. I would have died and never known why, Izidri." Hideo misses his time as a scientist. However, he knows that he is meant to be with Izidri and that he is happier back on the planet O with his family. Hideo labels himself as a farmer at the end of his report, reinforcing his stance as a person who is a part of community now with his family on planet O. Hideo and Izidri experience these love tropes: the second chance romance trope and the soulmate trope. Second chance romance trope contains a storyline where former lovers reconnect after a breakup or separation and finally find their happy ending. Izidri confesses her love for Hideo, and he embarks on his scientific journey, where they are then reconnected after a long separation when he travels back in time. And the soulmate trope revolves around a setting where everyone has one true love. However, there was a form of red string of fate that ties the soulmates together. Hideo realizes that Izidri has always been the one when he travels back in time because the universe places them together as a way to state that love conquers all. Other tropes I wanted to explore that Le Guin uses are fictional worlds, space travel, and exploration, and time travel. The fictional worlds in the story are Terra, which is modeled after Earth, the planet O, and the planet Hain. Aliens are categorized as morning people and evening people in this fictional world, and adjoining a morning and evening couple with a morning and an evening couple make the perfect set of four lovers. These fictional worlds are also built on an agrarian society, as if the society has given up on Eurocentrism or never had these values in the first place on these planets. Next is space travel. Space travel and exploration surround the conflict of the story. Hideo has the goal of finding the Churitan theory, which is the conflict of the story. To travel quickly from planet to planet without others aging externally is conflicting, which is why the Churitan theory needs to be solved. So, Hideo continues to not see his family for a very long time, trying to solve this problem with the amount of time that passes when traveling from planet to planet. Lastly, time travel makes an important impact on the plot. Hideo travels 18 years back before he leaves for his galactic journey, which happens during the attempts to try and improve travel from planet to planet at the speed of a mile without altering the surrounding timeline. My plan for my future paper is to examine other stories from the series, The Ascent of the North Phase and The First Contact with the Gorgonids, to understand human conditions better. My working thesis statement for these stories is that Ursula argues that science fiction gives humans the ability to experience the conditions of other beings.